Hi, Doug Masnaghetti with another guitar lesson. This one on an old tune by the Kinks called Sunny Afternoon. It was released on their Face to Face album in 1966, so way back there. As usual, the way this video is organized is I'll do a cover in just 2 seconds here. You can figure out whether it's the version you want to learn or not, and then I just move right into the lesson. So without further ado, on to the cover.
All I owned and left me in my stately home, lazing on a sunny afternoon. And I can't sail my yacht, it's taking everything I got. All I got's this sunny afternoon. I saving, saving, saving from this trying to break me, and I love to live so pleasantly, live this life of luxury, lazing on a sunny afternoon. In the summertime, in the summertime, in the summertime, took off in my car, went back to her ma and pa, telling tales of drunkenness and cruelty. I'll just sit right here, sitting on my ice cold beer, lazing on a sunny afternoon. Help me sail away. Why I ought to stay, and I love to live so pleasantly, live this life of luxury, lazing on a sunny afternoon. In the summertime, in the summertime, in the summertime. Trying to break me, and I love to live so pleasantly, live this life of luxury, lazing on a sunny afternoon. In the summertime, in the summertime, in the summertime.
Okay, so you just watched the cover of Sunny Afternoon by the Kinks. He starts with the D minor chord on this downward progression at the beginning of the song. You know, he starts with the D minor, and he's basically going to be walking the 5th string down from the 3rd, 2nd, 1st fret, But he has a little bit of the D minor chord still mixed in as he's doing that. So you want to maintain as much of the D minor chord as you can while you're walking down the string. So what I do is I just start out with the D minor, and then I move both my index fingers. Sorry, in the D minor chord, let me just tell you quickly, the D minor chord is formed with the index finger on the 1st fret of the 1st string, your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. That's your D minor chord. And then I just move both my index finger and my middle finger basically over 2 strings and up 1 fret. So they're in this position here. sorry, for the D minor chord, and then you just move them up and over. So your index finger's on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and your middle finger's on the 3rd fret of the 5th string, and that so. Then switch your index finger and your middle finger. Put your index finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string and put your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. And then walk that index finger down. So once he goes through, he starts with the D minor. And by the way, it's important to hop with your fingers here. You want to be damping the strings between each stroke of the pick. You know, playing it the way I'm playing it, it's really easy to fall into the trap of just sort of anchoring your ring finger here, and then this string will tend to ring, and it doesn't sound very well when you play it that way. So you want to bounce. It may take a little while to get the ring finger to cooperate, but just keep working at it, and the muscle memory will in fact kick in. He then switches to an A chord, and you want to bar it, and you just damp out the high E, and then and he just strums it a couple of times, and then he use your pinky to go to the 3rd fret on the 6th string, then your index finger on the 1st fret of the 6th string, and then open. So it's and then he just drops right back into the old D minor and he starts strumming. Taxman came and took all I own. That's to a C. So a C chord, hopefully you're familiar, but just in case, I'm playing it with my index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, middle finger on the 3rd fret of the 4th string, and ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 5th string. And you want to, you know, if you want to spice the song up a little bit, make it sound a little fuller, you want to just do some hammer-ons, some pull-offs and hammer-ons with these chords. So anyway, the progression is D minor, C, then do an F, and I just played the F by barring the first 2 strings at the 1st fret with my index finger. My middle finger's on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and my ring finger's on the 3rd fret of the 4th string, and then back down to a C. So the progression is, and I like to, so I start out and I just tend to play a plain old open D minor, no noodling around with the fingers, and then when I drop into the C, I like to pull that middle finger off and put it back on between strums. So I guess it's not really pull-offs and hammer-ons, it's really just pulling the strings off between your strum strokes and replacing them. So again, that middle finger on the, I'm in the F chord, and I'm using my middle finger to toggle on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. And then back down to the C. So and then back to the A, and walk that progression down that I showed you. Back to a D minor, and you do the same thing that I just showed you. And you know, if you want noodling with your index finger or your middle finger tends to go pretty well on the D minor chord. So after the 2nd time through, after he walks down that A walk down, he goes back to the D minor chord and he hits the 4th string rather prominently, then strum the upper strings, and then come back down and hit the 5th, and then come back up and hit the 4th again. Sorry, he's not strumming the strings in between. So let me just walk it down and show you what I'm trying to explain to you here. So you just come out of the verse, now you're moving into the chorus. Yes, he does hit the strings in between, so sorry about the confusion there. So he does this. And then he open on the 5th string, then the 2nd fret on the 5th string, and then the 4th fret on the 5th string. And I like to use my middle finger and my pinky here because it makes it easier to drop into a D7, which is the next chord you're going to move into. And that is played with your ring finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string, your index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, and your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Okay, so what I've showed you so far is I showed you the intro, and got a hop. Same thing with the A, hop. And then we went into the verse. Did this twice. I'm not going to do it again. I'm just going to go right into the chorus. And so you move into that A7, and this is with a help me, save me, save me, save me from this squeeze. That's a G7, and so 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the 6th string, your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and your index finger on the 1st fret of the 1st string. And I like to pull off, not pull off, but just lift my index finger and put it back on between strums. So you help me from this squeeze. This is a C, kind of a C7, but I don't think it's complete. So I don't know, some kind of weird chord. It's basically played just like a standard C. So position your. Actually, I already showed you how to play a C earlier. So, but with this chord, you drop your pinky onto the 3rd fret of the 3rd string. So, save me, save me, save me from this squeeze. I got to the to the C7. Big fat mama trying to break me. He moves to an F. And I like to bobble on this middle finger there. Middle finger, 2nd fret on the 3rd string. Just on and off. And then he moves to an... So the F chord I already showed you as well, so I don't need to re-explain that. But then he moves to an A7, which is played with... I play it with my... you can play it with your index finger and your ring finger, but I play it with my ring finger... your index finger and your middle finger. I play it with my ring finger and my middle finger. So I put my ring finger on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string, and I put my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. So during that chord, I'd like to put a little emphasis on the melody by putting my pinky onto the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and then you remove it and you put a lot of emphasis on just the open E. I didn't do anything different there. So just walking into the chorus here a little bit again. So we started out with a D7. Help me, help me, help me chord of a C7, F, and then to the already familiar D minor chord. Love is so as G7 again. Live this life of lost. G7 again. Re, and he goes to the C7. So just playing through that real slow. Then right into the F, just like we did before. So I guess the pattern I do there, it's that pattern. Then he goes into a D7 again. Live so as G7. Live this life of luxury. I think I already covered this. Okay, then just one time at speed and we're done. So yeah, he ends the song on just doing the as pretty much it. So that's it. Sunny Afternoon by the Kinks. Hope this was helpful.